back.
Oh, select the gotcha.
Slick back. I just got out of the shower.
Wow, did you really think you got a haircut?
It looked like it.
Dude,
What
are
the
you kidding
fuck,
me?
Jacob?
Like, I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm one of the
That's
hosts of the
super
podcast, Jacob
fucked up.
Boyer. How are you doing, Jake?
No.
Do that
Welcome to the
again,
Buttery
Jacob. I was
Mouse
talking.
Podcast.
Do the whole thing again. I was talking over you.
I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Boyer. Welcome to the Buttery Mouse Podcast, everyone. I'm joined by my co-host, Jacob Demansky. How are you doing, man?
Hello, it's me, Jake Demansky. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And with us, as always, a third host. So just kidding. He wants to be called, a guest. Rob Morrissey. How's it going, Rob?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me. One day I will wish to be called Supreme Emperor, so, enjoy guest while it lasts.
Odd Emperor Rob Morrissey.
Yep.
But doesn't that mean that you would eventually then have to assume some ownership of the podcast if you're going up in rank?
I'm more of a figurehead at that point.
Okay.
It's like you can't blame God for all the bad things people do in his name.
You're skipping all that bureaucratic bullshit, just going straight from guest to God Emperor. Nice.
It's like, when they burn a witch at the stake in God's name, it's not really like, it's not on God. He's not the one doing it, so...
You think God is looking down like, I never asked any of you to do any of this. What the fuck? Like,
I think a lot of witches are getting to heaven being like, what the hell, man? I thought we were cool. And he's like, we were cool. I don't know what those other assholes are even talking about. I never even liked them, okay?
Like, if you want to... How it got from point A to point B, how this whole thing started and ended up where it was, I don't fucking know what happened.
I don't know what
Shit
was
happened.
lost in translation. I thought I made it very clear, but evidently not.
Listen, God is down with the witches and the hoes, okay? And as God, I would never do something like that.
So vote for Rob as the
All
next
right.
God.
God Emperor of the podcast. And then we might end up being one of the only podcasts with a God Emperor, so we'll go from having the longest running guest to
Only
the first
ascended
podcast with a God.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. This is exciting. The future of podcasting.
Write a Bible for us. Like someone should start writing scripture in our name.
I think we do have enough lore at this point that we could already have like a fully fledged Bible going. Someone
Probably. We
needs
just
to
need
write
some devoted followers. That's the only thing we're missing.
Yeah. You can say that again. And I don't think it would be that interesting of a Bible. It would be more of like a, what do they call those? A compendium. It's just like a bunch of scattered.
It's like a pamphlet.
Yes, that is what the Bible is.
Isn't that?
Bunch
Yeah,
of
I was about to say
stories that-
that's what the Bible is.
Yeah,
There's not
alright.
many like through line stories.
Got me.
The Bible is
Because
a lot
except
of
for
like,
just-
this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened.
And then Satan showed up to taunt God.
And then
like
it was
that's the
good.
thing that happens the most is
Yeah.
like Satan shows up to mess with God.
Yeah. And it's never anything cool. It's always like, oh, this person is in the desert and they're thirsty. If they drink the water, then they will be tempted by me, the devil. And then the person doesn't drink the water, and the devil's like, it's foiled again.
Then like the narrator's like, let's hear what Luke has to say for a
Yeah, let's hear what Luke has to say about
Has
this.
nothing to do with the story we just heard either.
That was interesting, Luke. Let's swing it over to Matthew.
Yeah.
If we do go that Bible route, we could be the collective like Jesus figure, and then we could just find disciples to write their interpretation of what they thought the podcast was. So we just reach out to all the former guests and be like, "So listen, write about your experience on the podcast."
It's three of us. We have three people: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Okay, like we've already got.
I don't want
the
to be
main...
a part of this.
Well, you could be the Holy Spirit, the best part.
So who's the Father and the Son?
No, I want to be the Son, so I can say "Dad" all the time. Dad. Hey, the
I'm
Romans
down.
are pissed off again.
I'm down with being the father of the podcast. But can you imagine? It's like we have our Old Testament and New Testament for when certain hosts come and go.
Jesus.
we have different what are they fucking called? Which the chapters, we have like the chapter according to Adam and Rihanna. We have the chapter according to Jamie. Like
What do they call that?
The Book of Luke,
Psalm
chapter
or
of
Yeah.
Luke, the Psalms, or I don't know. It's been
Anyway,
up.
I want to be like the friendly neighbor to your Holy Trinity. It's just what I'll be.
So Satan.
It's the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, and then the friendly neighbor. No, Satan's somewhere else too.
Friendly neighbor.
Like I walked past him at least once or twice while saying hi to you guys.
So you're like, you just want to be in the neighborhood. You just want to be like
You're
around.
Just around.
in between the Holy Trinity and Satan, so you're constantly caught up in all of our shit.
You're
It's
the
not my
house.
fault.
You're the
Just
house
walking
always
around.
like calling the Romans, the Roman guard in, being like, they're being way too loud, man. They've got these like crazy parties going on, and
I will pray and like, now, we'll hear a little bit of that, and then like so will the devil, and it will be like this, like you and the devil look at each other like, so, what do you want to do?
you gonna answer that?
Yeah, like is that are you picking that up or am I? I'm just like, oh, I'm just a nice guy.
I've switched my thought process recently. I'm now in the market to sell my soul to an angel. For a while I was looking for like a demon to sell my soul
I don't
to.
know if you can do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say
know
I
the
don't know that
rules.
angels like buy souls. I think they just say, "Oh no, you'll get here when you get here."
Listen.
Like-
Henry Ford had to come up with the some kind of explanation for like people had never bought cars before, right? Like no one had ever bought a car before, and then all of a sudden people were buying cars like crazy. Okay, and I just want to be that guy.
You want to be the first
guess-
person to sell your soul to
I want to be the
someone
Henry
who doesn't
Ford.
want to buy a soul.
Yeah.
You're saying like this is something no one has realized we could do, and actually we should be doing because it's more practical for our existence. Like a car is gonna get you somewhere faster, and you have more control over it more so than a horse.
Right.
It's like
yeah.
that idea. So you're like, oh, like instead of living normal life, you could have sold your soul to an angel and then made your life better. That's
Right.
kind of okay.
It'd be interesting to sell your soul to an
Interesting.
angel and still not get into heaven.
Huh.
They're like, same rules apply. Like, you don't have a soul anymore. It's just, you didn't sell it to, I guess, it's more of a benevolent customer, I guess.
What do you think the ratio is at this point of souls in hell versus souls in heaven?
Oh, it's like it's a wide gap. It's definitely a wide gap. I think a lot of people don't get that opportunity to like really say sorry at the end, and so they end up there on a technicality. They're like, I would have accepted Jesus Christ into my heart, but that train just came out of nowhere, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I have a Catholic friend who is told me he loves me, but I'm most likely going to hell, and he was totally serious about that. So he was like, don't worry, a lot of people are going to hell at this rate.
You'll be in good company. Don't worry.
Like, oh, thank you.
I love that shit. And what's their name?
What's their name?
Who is this person? No, I mean that's some like self-righteous. That's some shit where like you shouldn't get into heaven if you're saying.
Well, he said, to be
right?
fair, he was like, I don't think I am either.
Okay,
It
that's
wasn't-
a little different then.
Yeah, he wasn't one of those people that was like,
I feel
you're going
sorry
to
for
hell,
you.
but I'm safe.
He's like, I'll see you there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
He was
Yeah.
equating it to like the way like America, what it makes you do at all to be reasonably living in this country is like counter to going to heaven. Like, huh? That's interesting.
He's probably not wrong. I don't know. What country do you think has the most people in heaven per capita?
Oh man,
Like if America is like really bad and like people in America are constantly going to hell, like what's the predominant language in hell? Is it English? Is it Chinese? Is it Spanish, German? Like what is?
I would say it has to be English.
I just
But
don't.
in terms of like
think-
heaven, I don't know.
About like, you know, countries that had an established religion before Christianity came around and Catholicism, and then forced it upon them. 'Cause there's that whole thing. I forget the quote. It's like a Native American being like, "I have gone to hell if I would have never known of your God," or "Would I have
Yeah.
never gone to hell if I would have never known of your God?" It was like I
That's
don't
very
know
true,
the
yeah.
fucking quote, whatever, but something like that.
I get what
That
you're
would
saying, yeah.
that would be the worst. That would be the worst outcome.
Oh yeah, you were all fine, and then we introduced this thing, and then because you have knowledge of it
Right.
at all now,
There's-
hell.
we keep on talking about it, but there's an episode of Lucifer where the
We'll
psychologist
keep on talking about
character-
it.
Yeah.
You bring it up at every
The-
opportunity.
the one like psychologist character who's like trying to like diagnose Lucifer and like make him a better person and all that.
And just
Like
keeps fucking him.
shortly after she like finds out, oh no, he is actually really, this isn't a metaphor, he is really the devil. She has a conversation with like one of the angel side characters where she's upset that like she now knows that Catholicism and all that is real. She's like, I wasn't sure what I believed in. I would wake up some days and be like, what if reincarnation exists? And now
Right.
I for sure know
Now she has
that
no
yeah,
choice but to believe in that. Yeah.
it's worded funnier, but like I find that like a similar thing. It's like, well, great. Now I know exactly what's going on. There goes the sense of like wonder and curiosity. There goes my there goes my ability to like entertain any other thoughts. Now that I know all the rest
I
of
mean,
them are
that-
fake. Like
That's like there goes that thing where like CEOs and companies they're not told certain information so they don't get in trouble if they ever have to. It's like when they do
yeah.
when the CIA does something they don't tell the president about, like Reagan, like when
Yeah.
all that Iran Contra stuff happened, they like didn't tell him about it specifically so he could testify that he didn't know about it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you told me, about original sin and Jesus, and now I'm fucked. Like, now I have to subscribe to that. If anyone asks, I have to tell them I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
Like,
those
what could
babies
have
I
been?
killed, I have to own up to that now.
Fuck, I now know that's bad, unfortunately.
yeah.
Before then, I could have made an argument that I didn't know any better. But now, fuck.
I had no idea what I was doing, officer, with the babies. I thought I thought it was fair game.
See,
Did I say officer? Wouldn't it be God?
I always thought that you kind of were like all for the blood sacrifice thing. How was I supposed to know that you didn't like that?
Yeah, it's like when you.
At some point way far back when killing things was like pay-per-view TV. Before you knew, before morality was involved, I bet, and anyone knew they were doing anything wrong. It was like, holy shit, I just hit this guy with this rock and his head exploded. I've never seen anything like that.
Goes to hell
Wow.
and is explained if you were only born 30,000 years in the future, my only son would have been around to tell you what's up. And it's like, well, that's not fucking fair.
Sure, I'm just a caveman. I'm
live
looking
in
for food. I don't know.
Yeah, how
any
many cavemen do you think are in hell?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Zero.
I don't even know how to read or write. The concept of language to me is already foreign, and I feel like I wasn't
Every
given
day,
much-
magic happens constantly around me because I forget what's what. I haven't learned anything yet. Oh, what was this shit about Alex Jones? I looked it up a little bit,
Yeah.
and I figured we could talk about it since you wanted to.
I
Rob.
saw some headlines
Jacob.
on the TV at the gym. So, from what I understand, I think Rob, you know,
Get away,
a little
Rob,
bit
or
more. I think Rob knows a little more about this than I do. But back when Sandy Hook, that shooting happened, Alex Jones had this big thing where he put out multiple videos claiming the whole thing was a conspiracy. and the parents that were like photographed like crying, like trying to break through the police lines to like go save their kids or like ID their kids' bodies. All of those people were crisis actors that the government hired to like all this like basically just a lot of awful slanderous shit. And the parents are like going after Alex Jones to be
So
like,
yeah, kind of. So Alex Jones, in a nutshell, like the big issue that he ran into is that he, more than just claiming that these people are crisis actors, the big thing that I think is like fucking him right now is the fact that he told a handful of these parents to their face at like a town hall meeting that their children never existed. And so
Jesus
that
Christ.
because I watched some of the trial a couple days ago, and that's a big thing they were getting him on the stand for, and he was kind of forced to say under oath, like, okay, I believe that this little girl was a real person and died in this massacre, and like walk back his whole thing. But you know, the people who watch Alex Jones, like I know a couple people who grew up in Alex Jones households where like, because when Alex Jones had a radio show in the morning, like a lot of people listened to it the way people listen to Stern, or fucking they listen to, like my dad listened to Imus in the morning, right? That dude was just a racist, not a conspiracy theorist, so that's not as bad. But Alex Jones, like by and large, listen, I want to like him, right? Like I look at Alex Jones and I see a guy who, if he wasn't like such a complete psychopath, is just a really funny human being that is interesting. Like we've talked about it before. Back before he fell into the weird like InfoWars shit, he was doing cool shit like you know, sneaking into the Bohemian Grove and like smoking weed with Joe Rogan in the White House. Like he was up to some like really, you know, funny shit. He's one of the first people, like nowadays it's really common for people to like, you know, be like, oh, George Bush did 9/11, right? Alex Jones was like one of the first people to pioneer that concept that like George Bush and the US government were the ones who at the very least allowed 9/11 to happen. But, you know, he was like pretty anti right wing. He was a very like you know, I want to say a left wing thinker for you know, the early years of his person, you know, his radio personality. But yeah, now he's a right wing guy, and so he, when Sandy Hook happened, he really fell into that whole crisis actor thing. And I think we, you know, I remember being in like 11th grade, and at the end of the school day, like ninth period, hearing about it, and like the last 3 periods of class, we were just watching the news on our laptops. It was the first year we all had laptops. We were all just watching the live feed of like what was going on at the school. You know, some of those things, like you got to pick and choose your targets. But yeah, so his base are psychopaths. The people who listen to Alex Jones. Have you guys ever listened to a full episode of the Alex Jones InfoWars show?
No.
Never a full episode, but I have seen clips. I've seen enough clips where I know I don't like Alex Jones. I think he's really fucked up for a lot of reasons, including this. Yeah, I have friends that watch InfoWars, and it's like hard to be friends with them when they want to bring it up.
Oh yeah, I tried to watch InfoWars around the 9/11 episode of Joe Rogan, like episode number 9/11, because he had.
I think I did see a little bit of that.
He had Alex Jones, Duncan Trussell, and who's the jiu-jitsu guy he has on? Who's a conspiracy guy?
Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo. Yep.
Yeah.
And even Eddie Bravo in that episode is saying that like Alex Jones is a complete fucking idiot for some of his opinions, right? It's but I tried listening to InfoWars after that, and I listened to like one episode, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. Like there's if you can get through a full 4-hour episode of InfoWars, you're a lunatic, because it's like 3 minutes of news followed by 3 minutes of advertisements for end of the world supplies, and that just repeats for 4 hours. Like
it's not gonna like just change you. It's gonna change you really fast, because it's like a lot of content, and it's really adamant about whatever fucking crazy message they're trying to get out there. Like, going back to what you said about Alex Jones, like you want to like him. there is an aspect of him, and this is maybe why Joe Rogan was problematic for me, was because he had on Alex Jones multiple times, and one episode in particular, I think it was just Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, and Eddie Bravo. It was like a 4 hour long episode where drinking, whiskey and cognac and smoking weed together, and there is an endearing quality about the guy, which I find dangerous. I understand that he is a really actually impressive entertainer. Like he does this show every day.
He's super charismatic. Like that's
on one about it. Exactly. He cares about his content that he puts out, and he puts on a fucking show for real. And that is what is so dangerous, because when he, lies or just kind of puts forth these conspiracy theories that are so offensive, but has this ability to wrap people up in his charisma and get a huge following. That's now a lot of people are convinced that this was all staged to somehow take away your guns.
Yep.
And yeah, the parents really lost their fucking kids in this shit, and he's gonna at the court, like you said, say no, they didn't even exist.
Yeah.
It's
how would you feel? I think I would want to
I'm trying to think of an analogy, and I this might not be in the best taste, but imagine you owned a car and you walk outside your apartment and your car is gone, and you're calling the cops to report it stolen, and they're like, you never had a car. That car never existed, right? It's not a good analogy, but you would start to feel it's that on a certain level, because it's this thing came from you, you watch that child come into the world, and it isn't just that you have you don't just have Alex Jones on his website every day telling you that your kid never exists. You have thousands of people sending letters to your home telling you need to own up to the fact that you were lying. You have people harassing you in the streets. Shouldn't even be a topic
on the table for you. At the time, it's are you fucking kidding me? I have to deal with that after I just dealt with the worst thing possible.
Yep. And
lunacy.
You want to think the best of people, but there is a certain part where it's all the times Alex Jones asked his followers not to harass people, it all came after the harassment had already done the damage. He didn't start he started off by saying, oh, these people are monsters, they're liars, they're crisis actors, and their children are fake. And so anytime he tried to apologize for it afterwards and tried to make amends, it's it doesn't matter. You've already done the damage. You've already incited the mob. And the worst part about it is the people that are following you right now, the people that are taking what you said as fact and truth and think that they are furthering some crusade against lies, is they're emboldened by hearing you say things like, oh, well, they were real, or I'm sorry I said this, because in their head it's oh, well, now the liberal media is threatening to take him down if he doesn't kowtow to what they want the truth to be. They're destroying our Messiah right now. And that's even crazier.
The paranoia that comes with that whole fan base or whatever. It is, if you think about it, it's mass schizophrenia is happening, because these people there's already proof that you shouldn't trust the government to a certain extent, just by knowing about CIA operations and stuff. Then just kind of spinning it in some really even crazier, demented way that Alex Jones does, and this paranoid schizophrenic audience, they will justify it in their head any which way to dig their heels in further to believing this crazy conspiracy theory. Like you said, they're gonna say, oh, they got to Alex Jones, we really need to strike back now, more than ever. It's fucking insane. It actually is insane, and that maybe speaks to the mental health of this whole country and maybe the whole world.
Well, you bring up the CIA. There is a difference between I think like people realizing that, the CIA lied and did a lot of bad shit for a lot of years. That's one thing where it's like, oh, this happened. You cannot deny that the shit they did in South America like didn't happen. You can't say that MK Ultra didn't happen. It's like all that shit.
Yeah.
It happened. Like it's history now. Like it's written in stone, and that definitely like hurt people's trust in this system. But this like
I think
it's
like that the CIA and like our government are like gods that are able to stage like this this school shooting or something, like it's all not real and everything all the time is like fully controlled by the government in that way is fucking insane. Like that's
it is
humans. You're giving humans way too much credit.
and it's dangerous in a lot of ways because again, like there are things that we know did happen, but you start going down this rabbit hole where it's like, oh, you think they can do anything? Like and then any conspiracy theory is like it's hard to argue with these people because it's like, oh, they have a tiny bit of evidence of times that they did stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that doesn't really necessarily compare to what you're saying they did. And you have no evidence. Like this crisis actor shit. Yeah. I think a lot of the crisis actor posts online are really funny, but they're also really fucking dangerous because people start believing that shit.
There's a different conspiracy theory, but there's a video, I don't remember who it was, but it was some news organization interviewing a flat earther about like why they believe what they believe, and the interview kind of culminates with the guy being like, can you understand, like, for the earth to be flat and for you guys to be a niche group that believe this shit, how many people would have to successfully lie and how like big an effort it would be to cover all of this up to discredit you guys? And like it just goes with what you're saying. It's like how like there would have to be so many. It's unreasonable to think that there would be so many moving parts to keep this conspiracy going. It all falls apart.
No, the real conspiracies are like in our fucking faces. Like the real conspiracies are like companies going out of their way to like find ways to avoid like climate change laws, like finding ways to like market unhealthy products to children. Like those are that's conspiracy. Those are real conspiracies.
Making a profit off of like basically shit that's bad for people.
We're going like putting your factories in countries that don't have labor laws, so that you can like avoid human rights violations. Like those are things that actually happen every day, and I think a lot of people just kind of accept that is like, well, it's not, conspiracies are like these things that, they're secretive and there's, a shadow cabal. And it's like, no, the cabal is in Congress every other week testifying about
you see
shit.
them.
Like, they're not hiding. They're right in our fucking faces.
Yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with that friend who watches InfoWars, and it kind of boiled down to we both agree, like, the rich are the cabal, if there was one. Like, that is just kind of like, shifting world economics, and kind of there is mass manipulation to some extent. It's not like so meticulous as like, oh, every person you talk to, if they tell you this, like it actually means that or whatever. But anyway, it boiled down to what I said was like we both believe that concept, but people on the right believe that it's like this cabal, they do satanic rituals and they're actually in contact with like a deity that's manipulating everyone and them. Like, but then the people on the left believe that they do these rituals, but they just nothing happens and they just get drunk and they fuck each other and do drugs and bad shit. But like they are doing the weird like ritual get-togethers and stuff because they're so rich. Like there's like nowhere else to go but that weird place,
there's
like, gods, we can do this, we'll dress up in cloaks and like fuck around all night.
I think I think Joe Rogan has a bit in one of his earlier stand-up specials that is exactly that, where it's like, oh yeah, if I was in charge of everything, and I could like have like secret get-togethers with the other people who are in charge of everything, we would do some fucking crazy shit. Like we wouldn't just be like getting together to have dinner. Like we would be doing like wild ass stuff just because like we can. And I believe that, dude. I would fucking be, if I was a rich person, I'd be doing the weirdest shit. I would be all over the fucking map, like doing such crazy stuff just because I can, just to see like what boundaries I can push. I don't think I would be drinking baby's blood, but it's like, yeah, I would invite my other rich cohorts to a cloak and dagger dinner, like a secret meetup in a fucking grove with an owl statue. Like, sounds lit.
Which is what
like,
Bohemian Grove is. But it is like, that is the thing where, you know, that's kind of its own tests. You know, you find out that, yeah, there are these weird, like, eyes wide shut type things that happen. Then, God, they're actually like vampires or something. And then,
no,
you know, other people are like, no, they're just like, the money has gone to their head and they are doing probably really bad things. I bet. It's not good, but that is like, because those things happen, it's like enough to push like a lunatic to that idea, like the Alex Jones people, like, oh my gosh, this everything is controlled by them. Because they get together and wear cloaks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's I mean, when they show up in public and like sign, you know, when the company that owns like 20% of the world's stock market like joins up with the company that's like controlling like the largest portion of cryptocurrency in the world, that's a conspiracy theory, and it's happening right in our fucking faces. Like, that's undeniable.
Advice is to tell those people like, hey, like I understand, like there's like such a weird thing going on that you're thinking these other crazy weird possibilities, but just like stay grounded. Like you're hitting the right spot, but don't totally lose your fucking head. Like, you know, that's
so yeah, you know, Alex Jones,
just
love him or hate him.
Yeah, I'm looking at an article right now that they're saying, as of now, like, because they have to, they're deliberating on whether or not, or not whether or not he owes them damages, but how much in damages he owes them. And right now, like, the day that we're recording this, tomorrow is when they're gonna like actually sit down and decide, okay, well, here's what his net worth is, and here's how much he owes based off of that. But as of right now, they're looking at it's two parents in particular who have since separated, but they're looking to both get $4 million from Alex Jones at this point.
Yeah,
I saw that, and good.
Mm-hmm. So the overall number, because I'm pretty sure it's like a class action situation where like all the parents have banded together to sue him.
It's just that these two
so
are the ones that
they were asking for. Yeah. So the total number was 150 million, and I know that Alex Jones has been trying to for a while say that he doesn't have that kind of money. But apparently a big part of the trial was that Alex Jones' legal team it's the same shit as like the Trump legal team, where it's like, who the fuck are you hiring to defend you? Because apparently Alex Jones' legal team accidentally leaked his private text messages and emails to the prosecution, and apparently in those conversations, it's like pretty clear that Alex Jones does have that money and that he just refuses to pay it. Yeah. And so he's been like part of, you know, he got deplatformed and everything, but part of the reason he's like really shut down his media group and everything is in an effort to say, oh, well, like I don't have the value, like there's no way I could pay this back anyway. So, you know, he gets a smaller settlement. He can pay that and then most likely just retire as a rich person and enjoy the rest of his life in comfort. Right. But I know that, you know, the families, rightfully so, are trying to ruin him. Like they're trying to, and I don't say that in a way where you should feel bad for him. It's like, no, this guy kind of deserves to be ruined. I don't want to compare him to Icarus, but like he flew way too close to the sun in terms of being an online conspiracy theorist. You got to imagine like most online conspiracy theorists don't make a dent in the world zeitgeist, and Alex Jones has been at the forefront of all this like ludicrous thinking for a long time now.
Yeah.
And if you were a like world government with the power to like make an example of someone who's spewing this kind of crazy shit, Alex Jones is a good target. And so, you know, I obviously good for the families. I hope they get this money. I hope that if Alex Jones comes back into the spotlight in any meaningful way, I hope he comes back as just like a kind of ridiculous personality and not a spearhead of like a, you know, weird, like depraved pseudo scientific group of people, because, you know, he's getting nailed on this shit right now, right? But he was a huge part in Donald Trump getting elected. He's been a huge part in spreading COVID disinformation. Like, he's been doing really harmful shit for a while now, and that's stuff that he probably isn't gonna go to trial over. So, you know, if anything, like if he does continue to like do some sort of radio show or online thing, whatever his next venture is, I just hope he's learned his lesson on a lot of this stuff, because it's you know,
if he goes away, he goes away. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to like say. I don't think he's going to be so wild to make like claims like that. You know, at least on his show.
Yeah,
but he's still gonna probably be adamant, because I mean, if you said if he really does have that much money, he got it from that, like doing his show and everything. That's fucking insane. I didn't know. There was speculation he was worth 150 million.
Oh, dude,
well, don't even
media group
like, well, don't discount like the amount of pills that he sold that will turn your body red over the course of 90 days.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the one cool thing he did was like skin changing pills.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely made a lot of money from these like you know, these end of the world products that he touted, and a large part of it is like they're expensive. Like the shit, that's the other thing I noticed about listening to his program is like he's not selling like $20 bottles of pills. He's like selling like $200 for like a month's supply of iodine pills, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of shit we're talking about, where like he got into the supplement game, basically. I worked at GNC before. Like, when I worked at GNC, we had a booklet that showed us how much every product cost to make versus how much we were selling it for. And there were $100 fucking bottles of pills that cost like $5 to produce. I mean, he got into one of the big, like the self-medicating, like healthcare racket is...
So not a cheap racket to get into.
Yeah, and you know, he was huge in these conservative circles, and like that's one thing you can never take away from the conservative party is like they're like the Democrats, they're a fucking rich lunatic. Like there are people in those camps that have a lot of money that they don't know what to do with. You know, I read an article the other day about how like rich people all over the country are like now really starting to buy like doomsday bunkers, and it's like, no, I think they've probably been doing that for a while, because if you got $100 million and nothing to spend it on, like why wouldn't you buy a fucking doomsday bunker in Texas? Like fuck it, you know, why wouldn't you spend 30 grand to stockpile like 5 years worth of like meal supplements, you know, like because you can, and he knew that, he knew his target demographic, he went after it.
Gonna be a no for me when it comes to Alex Jones, I guess.
And for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah. Big no for me, dog.
Guys, I kind of want to try a segment with y'all. It might not be all that exciting, but I am kind of curious. I'll start it off. I'll preface it with a little story. So,
all right.
today, Okay. Sorry, you were cutting out a little bit there,
Oh,
and I
no, I
couldn't
was
quite make
just
out.
saying, all right, I'm into it. I'm
Okay.
into it.
It's not all that exciting, but so today I went to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware, and it's a
Okay.
lovely beach,
Mm-hmm.
and I was only there for like 3 or 4 hours, but in that time I had like a little adventure. It wasn't all that exciting. I went to the Dogfish Head restaurant, and like I
Nice.
think it was like a brewery location.
Yeah,
Cool.
the actual brewery is not too far from there, but that both places are very nice.
Okay, yeah. So I went in there and I got something that I couldn't get in the store that was pre-canned. They had stuff that was on draft that I could get a crowler of. Got some really good juicy IPA, and so I moseyed around Rehoboth with this, drinking this in public, which I think is illegal, but I just did it anyway and had it in a brown bag, and nothing happened to me. It was fine. And then went back to the Dogfish Head uh, brewery spot because they had a restaurant. I got a Cubano. This
I
Cubano
saw that
was
on
like the best
your Instagram.
Cubano. It was so fucking good. It was ridiculously good. They had like it was ham, Swiss, mustard, pickles, and it was like a pulled braised pork.
Oh,
It wasn't
That sound
barbecued
really good.
up. It was just like it was on a ciabatta roll, which was interesting. It was fantastic. I'm having the best time. I'm drinking this beer. I'm moseying around. I get a sandwich. I'm living the life. And I go to the beach. I'm like, before I go back home, I'm going to hop in the water. So I put my stuff down and I run into the water. I'm in the water up to my waist, and I just start looking around me. And there's all these fucking translucent little floating things all around me, that these little
Yikes.
creatures with like an orange center to them that's like really bright, and I'm like, what the fuck are these? And I start to get really scared. I see everyone in the water with me, and I don't hear anyone talking about it, so I'm like, do they even know that this is in the water with them? So I was in the water for a total of like 20 seconds and just get the fuck out because I was skeeved out. And I'm like, I wonder what that was. But I didn't have my phone on me at the time. I left it in my car. And I had one last thing to do. I had a blunt. I smoked the blunt and I moseyed around. And I know that's illegal. And then I just left. I started going home. And while on my way home, I was really curious what those fucking things were. And I looked up, I described them by typing in clear creature with orange center at beach. And they're called sea angels, and they're a type of sea slug, and nothing is wrong with them. And I could have just gone in the water and had a great time. But when I went to the beach, I was like really unprepared. I only brought a backpack with like sunscreen, and I didn't have a beach chair. I had a towel. I didn't have an umbrella. I had nothing to like stake a claim in the sand. And I knew it was going to be a short trip anyway, so I was like, what the fuck? But I have a question, or I have a little segment for us. Let's see if I can screen share my shit. Sorry. Oh, there we go. See that?
Hold on, I got it. There we go.
Okay, so I want you guys to pick 3 things for the beach that are essential. One bonus item of your choosing that isn't on this list, and then there's a final question at the end that you can kind of look at. But here's the catch. Once someone picks one, that's just off the table. That's theirs, okay? So
All right.
as people pick them, you start to run out of options here, and you can only pick 3 of these on the list, and one bonus one that is just of your choosing. Now, I'm just going to read these off for the people that aren't watching the podcast. We got beach chairs. We got towels. We got sunscreen, boogie boards, sunglasses, speaker/tunes, so music, waters, a cooler, sandwiches, sodas, sandals, beach umbrella, tanning oil, and you can see I was starting to come up with another one there, and then just said fuck it because we started the podcast. Right
off the bat, I'm taking sunscreen.
Wow.
Jacob,
Okay.
yeah.
He just decides he's going
you.
first. So
Listen. I if I don't have sunscreen, I'm not going to the beach. So that's
you're kind
I'm
of
such
leaving
a
Jacob to get possibly skin cancer.
Jacob. Take the umbrella. You can take the umbrella.
Yes, I will take the umbrella.
Cool. You
Okay.
see, this is how
Okay,
alliances are made.
So Jacob's slightly
sucks.
protected
Yeah.
for a moment. If
I
Jacob
burn
chills out,
so easily too. That's
Oh,
that
dude, I
sucks
cook
so
like a
bad.
fucking lobster. Like it's over. I
well,
went to the beach a month ago. I went to the beach. I used like a full can of spray sunscreen in front of like a couple families that were like Hispanic and Italian who have that nice dark skin that don't need it. And they were all like looking at me. I'm like, oh yeah, if I don't do this, I'm done. Like I'm dead by the end of the day. So yeah.
Here's the thing, though. You didn't even let me get to the kicker of this. I am the arbiter who decides who has the cooler set up at the end.
All right,
Rob, when you just jumped in and said sunscreen, that was like fucked up because I didn't even say you could go first. Honestly, you kind of set up the order, so I'm gonna leave it as is. But that's a big no-no. But Rob, it's up to your.
Jacob, you can pick next.
You
can pick
you
next.
then
I'll
go
let
now,
you.
Rob.
I'll let you.
Wow.
Jake, are you also playing along, or is it just between Rob and I as to who has the cooler setup?
So
Jake is gonna be the unprepared friend that kind of just uses his friend's stuff that they remember to bring.
I'm coming with both of you. You guys drove down separately, and I actually showed up separately as well. But I don't have anything,
and we
so I
can't
have to decide.
share the stuff.
We can't share, but we're gonna be next to each other on the beach.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right, Jacob. Rob has passed the choice up to you.
Okay. Well, then I will make the power play and say that I will bring the cooler with me because you'd have to be a psychopath to bring an empty cooler to the beach. So I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that that cooler is full of what's below it: sandwiches and sodas and waters. So I'm really stealing three things for the price of one.
Sandwiches, the sodas, and the waters, they're all still on the board, but Jacob, I'm going to flip a coin to see
if that logic
cooler
works.
is full of
okay.
the things you just said. So
all
hold
right.
on one moment. I'm going to grab a coin right now. Alright, this is good podcast.
I like how Rob can just sweep right in and steal the
podcasting.
sunscreen, but we have to flip a coin to decide on whether or not I
You're
can
talking
do
about taking
a
like
power
4
play.
items in one.
This is the rules are pretty it's pretty unleashed. So you got to be creative with your choices. You can add these little stipulations. So heads, Jacob gets all the things he said in the cooler.
Water,
Tails,
sandwiches, and soda.
he gets an empty cooler.
And I'm just not allowed to bring any of those to
Actually,
the beach.
it's a
hold
cooler
on.
with ice.
Okay, that's what I was
going
gonna say. Is it?
Yeah.
So it's not empty. It does have something
Has
in
ice
it at
in it.
least. Okay. All right.
Okay, let's see. Heads, all the stuff. Tails, no. I'm sorry. It's just a cooler of ice. It's tails.
Damn it! Fine.
Tails. Old penny.
You can use your 4th pick to fill it with whatever you want.
Well. Here's the question. Is this just like a walk-on beach, or is there a boardwalk behind us?
That is a good question.
Okay.
It's
this-
a walk-on beach. There's no boardwalk.
There's no boardwalk. Okay. Damn it.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
stranded practically.
We're stranded.
It's now Rob's choice for his second pick.
I'm gonna go ahead and say beach chairs because again, recently when I went to the beach with one of my buddies, just went down for the day, did not bring chairs, and so it was just kind of like we just lay out on the towels, which is fine, but chairs are really solid
where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jacob, your third and final pick from the list.
Then I will go with. I'll go with sandwiches because the ice will melt and I'll have water, but we need some food to go with that.
Interesting. I was gonna say ice is crunchy, so you do have like a snack
Yeah.
with you.
Well, my question is
Yeah.
though, my glasses that I wear are transitional lenses, so do I automatically have? I guess I automatically have the sunglasses option by default. I'm also imagining the scenario
I
where
will flip a coin to see if your
Yeah.
glasses.
Well,
if my
the,
glasses just
uh,
stop working when I go to the beach,
Yeah,
my
we're gonna flip
transitional
a
lenses
coin.
just don't
Well, actually,
fucking
hold
work.
on.
Yeah.
He's got transitional lenses. The shirts I wear also double as a sandwich shop. So basically, anywhere I go,
We're
How
going to
the
see
fuck?
if
How
I
does
just
that
got
we're
make
going
any
to-
sense?
Cubanos all over the place.
we're gonna see if actually those things happen for
If
you
my
guys. So
if my glasses just stop obeying the laws of physics when we get to this beach, they just don't change anymore.
yes. So this is what the flip is going to be for. Tails is going to be that your glasses work, Jacob, just fine. And Rob's shirt is actually a sandwich shop. For heads. For heads, your glasses stop
Like-
working and Rob's shirt isn't a sandwich shop.
I'm fine with either, for the record.
I'm hoping against myself at this point. I don't want my transitional lenses now.
It's heads. Your glasses don't work and Rob's shirt isn't
Good.
a sandwich shop.
I'm
Oh,
glad
boy.
because that's fucking bullshit. My comfort, I get a little bit of extra comfort, and Rob has the ability to just spawn food. It's fucking stupid.
Alright, and Rob, your last and final choice of the stuff on the list.
So, I think that like this is a tough one. I want to say sunglasses. I want to say towels. Some fucking sodas would be chill, but I think I'm gonna have to go with tunes. I think I'm gonna have to go with like a speaker, like a boombox or something to bring with me, because like honestly, the beach can get a little boring sometimes.
And I'm
you-
assuming that there's a magical barrier to where if you were
Oh,
on
yeah,
my
you can't
side,
hear
you
it.
wouldn't
You
hear
can't-
Rob's music.
you,
Like,
you can't hear the music, yeah.
Yeah, depending on who I chill with, I could have music and I
Or you could
Not be
have a
hearing
cooler
any
full of ice.
all right, that's a pretty good choice to announce what we have going on here. Rob has beach chairs, he has sunscreen, and he has speakers. That's all he's bringing with him so far. He's
None
got
of us
one
are
bonus
prepared.
item.
Like, just for the record.
And then Jacob has cooler with ice in it, sandwiches, and a beach umbrella. That's actually not a bad choice. That's not a bad setup, I would say.
how big is the umbrella? Can two people reasonably fit under it, or is it like a personal umbrella?
That's the choices you want to make it? Okay, so 2 people under the umbrella or 1. We're going to decide heads is going to be for 1 person under the umbrella. Tails, 2 people.
You're asking too many questions. We're going to the beach, okay? It's supposed to be, like, fun and easy.
Well, if he's trying to decide which side he wants to go on, he's not going to go to an umbrella that's like only made for me.
True, you got to consider this. And it was Tails, so 2 people.
Good.
I can be
Okay.
All right.
sheltered under that umbrella too. All right. Now
Because you didn't bring enough sunscreen just for you. You're going to share that bottle with him, but if the umbrella isn't big enough, I can't share it.
I didn't say I was
Okay.
sharing that bottle.
Jacob, now you get to choose 1 bonus item that isn't on
That's
the list.
not on
Whatever
the
you want to
list.
bring.
I will bring. I will bring a shirt that spawns Cubanos sandwiches.
Jesus.
That spawns Cubano.
So we have regular sandwiches and we have some of those sweet Cubanos, specifically the Cubanos that you had at the Dogfish Head earlier today.
Okay. Gotcha. So, you're the sandwich man, basically. Cool. Jacob has a shirt that spawns Cubano sandwiches. Okay, Rob, what is your final, bonus item that's not on the list of your choosing?
Well-
Could be anything. Could be a shirt that spawns Cubano sandwiches.
Yeah, no, I'm understanding the rules of the game now, and this is gonna be a controversial choice. I think a lot of people aren't gonna believe in what I'm choosing to bring with me. Most people don't believe in it. But I know one person who believed in it, and that's God. God believed in it. So I'm bringing with me DJ motherfucking Khaled, and we're gonna party on the beach, baby. He's gonna bring his fucking. He's gonna bring his Bentley down onto the beach. We're gonna be blasting tunes. He's got his own shirt that spawns Cubano sandwiches. Okay, like I don't even need my own.
Way to waste your speaker and tunes pick.
Listen,
you're gonna bring DJ Khaled down.
He's gonna be impressed that I thought ahead. He's gonna be like, "Don't even worry."
You're gonna bring
God did.
DJ
and
Khaled down.
So
I know I'm just choosing to believe that he's playing all of this through like his music is like all feeding into one tiny Bluetooth speaker that you have.
No, he's driving his yacht up onto the beach is actually what's happening.
Ruining the day for everybody else.
Except for us. Your day might be ruined. I'm partying with fucking DJ Khaled on a yacht perched up perfectly on Rehoboth Beach, okay? I don't know what you...
I like how Rob's one bonus item turned into DJ Khaled with a Bentley with a shirt that spawns Cubanos with a yacht.
Yeah, I mean,
it all falls under. I'm willing to bet that all does not fall under one umbrella, but
he's gonna yachts
creative as you wanted to be. That was the thing, you know.
Fine.
You guys put yourselves in a box. That's
all
the
right.
Thing. So okay, and the final thing. Start with you, Jacob, since Rob just left. What is your alcoholic beverage of choice at the beach? One you love.
Ordinarily, I would say margarita on the rocks, but I just for the first time this summer had some of those summer shandy Leinenkugels, and I really I fuck with those, so I would go with the summer shandies.
All right, the summer shandy Leinenkugels.
I have no fucking clue how to spell it.
And then Kanga Kugel. Sure, that's close. And Rob, what is your alcoholic drink of choice when you want to go to the beach? When you're on the beach kicking back?
DJ Khaled's Bentley's trunk is just full of jungle juice.
Jesus Christ.
So. Yep.
All right, so
that Bentley's gonna get stuck in the sand, and I'm gonna laugh.
Let's buy another one.
All right, so this is what it came down to. We had Rob's total choices, or actually, Rob's total choices were beach chairs, sunscreen, speaker with tunes, and DJ Khaled with he brings a party and a Bentley, and he has tunes, and he also has a shirt that spawns Cubano sandwiches.
And rides his yacht up on the beach.
Yeah, he parks his yacht up on the beach. Okay, and then Jacob, he had a cooler with ice in it, sandwiches, a beach umbrella, then a shirt that spawns Cubano sandwiches. So, and then Rob had Jacob had as a drink, summer shandy Leinenkugels, and then Rob had DJ Khaled's Bentley. Its trunk is full of jungle juice. All right. So now I'm going to flip a coin, see who I end up spending my beach day with, Rob or Jacob. Heads is going to be Jacob, tails is going to be Rob. So I'm going to flip now. Heads, I'm with Jacob, and we're looking over.
Fucked.
We're looking over at Rob's pool party with DJ.
And that, of course, there's the sound barrier, so Rob is silently partying.
Yeah.
That was certainly a segment
certainly a segment that we do.
Called Jake's Beach Day with Friends. Anyway, that's all I got. Okay.
No, it makes a lot of sense that we're not hanging out with each other also.
Yeah. Oh, how do I stop sharing this? You're about to see all my porn.
Oh no.
Well, if you stop, it should just close the thing. There you go.
Well, that was something. And wow, just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Really quick, not a topic, but while we were recording, because we talked a lot about God this episode, I got a text from a spam bot that said, "I became a god of my bedroom, and you can as well." and it has a shady link. So maybe
You
I'll
should,
follow that, and we'll find
You
out
should check that out.
for
yeah.
the next episode.
See what that's all about
Yeah.
for real.
Wow. Well, do we got any plugs we want to do?
Watch this podcast all the same places you listen to this. Then check out the YouTube version if you're not if you're listening on Spotify, and if you're watching on YouTube, check out the Spotify version.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of the Buttery Males podcast and listened all the way through, please go on the Instagram, follow us. You can subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, rate us 5 stars. You can follow us on Twitter, and you
Join our
can,
Discord.
if you want, yeah, you can join the Discord too. There's always some wacky stuff going on in there. There's a permanent invite somewhere to get in, and yeah, if you liked us, you can tell your friends about us. If you hated us, you can tell your enemies about us. Whatever you want to do.
Folks, sorry to make the episode all scattered everywhere. We talked about God, we talked about Alex Jones, we talked about the beach. It doesn't make sense, but we're trying, and we love you.
It's just segments that we do.
Yeah, I think these are just segments we do, and yeah, we definitely love you guys. So hopefully you enjoy your time with us, and if not, go fuck yourselves.
And then come back, and
And please don't stop listening.
Yeah,
we need
stop
these.
listening.
Just put it on in the background and have us on low volume, but listen to us, please. We
Just
need
give
the
us
plays.
yeah, give us the listen and the play. But okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a good one, guys.
Bye.
See y'all later.